What's up, guys? Welcome back to the iherng podcast. And today we have a guest that is supposed to solve car park issues. Right. So I think before we start, right, a little backstory is when there was a DM that I answered on Instagram that was shared to him regarding investment on properties without car park. So there are units out there selling without car parks. There are units selling with one or two. So sometimes does it matter that you buy one more car park? Because now at least a family will have two cars. How can you live with one car park lah? But if it's for an investment unit, then it's going to be way worse. Let's say a household that will be 4 people, 4 cars easily, then 3 park outside lor. So that's why the problems of apartments and condos now, roadside is always full during the days. Then people can't smash car or whatever, right? Why you laugh? It's like very common, right? They tell Malaysians, oh yeah lah, always happen. Let's try to change it today by having our guests. Let's introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi guys, my name is Kian. I'm from Parkit. And really what Parkit does is we provide a platform which any property owner, whether you're an individual, you're commercial, you're a developer, whatever, to list out your car parks if you don't really use it so much on our platform. And then what happens is anybody in KL, in our society, who wants to find a car park, then can basically search online, look at the prices, look at where it is, and if it's convenient, then you can just book and pay and then park online, all through your seat. You don't have to go and look for a management office or where to park, go look around the streets. So that's exactly what we do. So in summary, we activate car parks which otherwise could be inaccessible to people.
Dead space lah.
Yeah, not visible to people. So we activate those and put it online.
So that includes apartments and condos and...
Yes, we started off in residentials like apartment condos, and in locations like KL Central, Bangsa, TTDI, Damansara. It's Hartamas, for example. A lot of working professionals that come to work here. You can't find a car park, and it's hard to find a car park. It's expensive.
Even you can find double park, it's really lucky.
Yes, exactly. And if you want to park by hour, then you pay a lot of money usually. And so like usually in these areas there will be like residences. And you look inside, these residences are like empty. These car parks are empty. So what we do is we approach property owners or the management to say like, hey, this car park's not using. A lot of people outside needs car parks. The streets are full outside. In your apartment is empty. Maybe you want to list it out, make some passive income, and then that's what they do. Yep. So
it's such a, not to downplay, right? I think it's awesome. But it's a very simple solution.
Yeah, it's super simple. Yeah,
it's because like I came from Sunway, and that was the design concept. Whenever they match office towers with malls together, on daytime, everybody goes to work. No one goes to the mall, right? Yeah. Unless you are unemployed or whatever. So you will have a lot of people fighting for the car parks. So office spaces will be packed. Then you can just park in the mall, walk over. But then on weekends, the mall is full. Then they open up the office car park. You can also park over to the office, then you can move over. So so that's the benefit of mixed development, and you can see now different condos around, right, all having this typology, which works really, really well. How did this idea actually started?
It started because I myself faced a problem when I worked. My first job was in KL Central.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and I had to drive. I got to go to clients. I had to drive, and the solution given to me by my employer at the time is, hey, we got corporate rate. All our teammates have corporate rates where to park. So this is where you park. It's like 15-20 minutes walk away. If rain, confirm I get wet. Confirm I get wet. There's double parking, triple parking, gravel, maybe one jaga there. And like that lah. So if I park,
now we even have flooding problem.
now got flooding problem. I wear my formal, like go to office. But then I reach office, I'm like sweaty. And then I have to go for meetings. It's very it's not the best solution. And it cost me $13 per entry. This is corporate rate, $13 per entry. And so like 23 working days, if you are working, you pay like $300. That's 10% of your pay of fresh grad, or maybe more of your pay, 10%. And so that was hard. And then beside my office, there was a condominium. I peeked inside, empty car park. Car park empty, no one using because I ran out to expats or whatnot. So it's empty. So I thought, hey, if I know someone inside there or I have a relative stay there, right, I just pay him like 250 lah or $200. You rent it to me, right? You don't use it anyway. So I was thinking, okay, yes, I want to save some money. I want to get a car park beside my office, reserve, cheaper, more convenient, higher security. And so that's when I went and tried to find a car park myself to solve my problem in my office. And then I found one. So I found one, then my colleagues asked me, so I just helped my colleagues find. I made some side income from that. I could pay my rental in KL, which was great. But ultimately, I had an opportunity. So I was fortunate. We got some funders through an accelerator. Next year, I was one of them, WTF, which is now pitching. They gave me an opportunity to join the accelerator. And from the accelerator, we grew from maybe 10 users to like 200 users. Really, really fast in 4 months. And from there, we managed to raise some funds to then explore and continue growing the business to kind of help more people in other locations. So now we are like across 500 locations in KL, activating like more than 8,000 car park spaces in residences, in malls, in commercial centers, just making it more convenient for people to look, search, and apply for parking.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Car park is one of the main issues. I do not accept job offers in KL.
A lot of people do not accept job offers in KL because of parking. A lot of our users will say, hey, you got parking here. How much does it cost? Because I am considering accepting the offer. And one of my consideration is how much will parking cost?
Yes.
Will it be a problem for me? And if it's a problem for me, I don't want to take this job. So we get that kind of feedback from our users, and then we try to get them something most convenient. So you're right.
Yeah. It's pain, like a lot of my friends got a pay raise. Oh, a new job, right? Or you report to Jalan Pinang. Wow. Exclusive walking distance to KLCC, right? The car, whether or not, right, takes more cost than your food every month. Which is insane. And again, on corporate rate.
Yeah. Jalan Pinang, you got Mark Residence. We have Mark Residence there. It's 300 per month.
Which is okay.
Yeah, which is okay. If you park like any other season parking, it's full. Or if you park in KLCC, then you pay 50, 60 per day. And then like you think about it, like how can you afford that? So if you get a good job there, you are forced to take the train. Yeah. So
And then now train also.
train also full. And then the last mile's not so good. So people always ask like, okay, if I take the train, I need to drive to train station. How
Yeah, so like for those who are not not familiar with the real estate terminology, I think the last mile thing is a big problem for Malaysian, especially for our weather. So it's from your house to the nearest train station and from the train station to your office, that last mile. A lot of people try to address it with e-scooter, e-bike, shared bike, whatsoever.
Or Grab.
But costly. But I think everybody's trying to solve that actually in the whole world, all major cities. But if you have a Genting-like weather, then I think it's fine. But if you're like a KL weather, right?
Then you are kind of...
Sometimes I wonder why do I need to dress up in suit and tie?
Especially when it rains or it's hot. And it's always raining and hot here. So yeah, so that's tough.
Cool. So how many users now you have already?
We have 12,000 users. 12,000, more than half are paying subscribers.
Then, okay, so like run us through the experience. Like, if I have an extra car park, so I just go to your app and register myself.
Yeah, you just go on the app, you register, you fill up a form, it will ask you what level it is, how long is it available, are you the owner, are you the tenant, is it a tandem car park, is it a single car park, the address, your expected price. After you list it, you go through our internal approval. During the internal approvals, we will call you to then just do some verification to make sure that you actually...
You're real.
yeah.
I am not a robot.
We talked to you about access. How do you access the building? Is it access car? Is it license plate? Is it RFID? And then once you give us that information and you're legit and not some Mickey Mouse, then we will...
Okay.
then we will approve your listing. Then your listing becomes available to anybody who wants to book it.
Okay. So after that is approved, then for me who wants to rent the place, so you make me or I actively go and find.
I will matchmake you.
Okay.
So people will come on our platform, they will search, okay, I need a parking in Hartamas. And then they'll search and then they'll see like, oh, there's signature residences here, for example. They see the price, they think it's good. Not only there might be other locations, right? And if you feel like, okay, this price is good for me, then you can make a request, like an application. And when you make a request, then you as an owner, like you'll get a message saying that there is a request. you can then reply to say that, okay, it's available. Then the tenant will get a notification saying that the owner has said it's available. Then they can pay. After they pay, 2-3 days later, the access card will get delivered or access will get sent to the user. And then they can start to park.
So the payment made to...
Yeah, we will be the escrow. So it's all credit, debit card, just like your Netflix account. After first of every month, or when you start your subscription, then we will take the rental, and then we'll pay the owners at the end of the month. So in case there's any problems in between the parking spaces, then we can do whatever refunds we need to the customer. So we are sort of like an escrow that we help to collect the payment, and then we pay out to property owners.
Then the first challenge I will foresee, right, is the security portion.
Yeah.
Like when the building is empty in daytime, there'll be a lot of strangers coming in to park the cars. How do you address that?
So most of our users are monthly basis. They work there. So their lifetime period is like 16-24 months. Sometimes longer than your dwelling tenant. And a lot of them are ladies actually. Wear heels, want to go office. They're scared of security. So condo, good security.
Yeah.
So it's like so there's this education thing that we need to take part in. And so usually like owners, we share these details with the owner. Who's parking, where they're parking, the car details, IC details, business card if necessary. And usually when we send that over, then the owner will be comfortable with that. After that, we will tell the owner, encourage them to register with management. So usually your management condos will have a visitor registration form or a tenant registration form or a owner registration form. So depending on what is appropriate at that time or what the owner chooses to do, then they will register the tenant as per management requirements. And after that, then management has all the details. After that, then it's okay. Yeah. So some of the condos we work with, now they're renting out their visitor car park to us.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah,
it's like a revenue already.
Yeah, they make JMB money. So they got like 50 car parks, visitor car parks, empty in downtown Bangsa. Everywhere cannot park, but they got like 50, 60 car parks, no one use, right? And so we help rent out, activate all those car park spaces. Become extra revenue for JMB. So that's great. Some condos like Clearwater Residence, for example, high-end condo in Damansara Heights, we work with the management to help register our tenants. So we tell the management like, this is a Parkit tenant, this is details or whatever. And then they'll tell us like, okay, please forward the house rules so they don't use this lift, they don't loiter in the lobby and these things. There are things that they can do, cannot do, depending on the condo, which we will forward to our tenants. These are things you cannot do, can do. And if they break any rules, then we will warning. After that, if it continues, then we will ban it. But usually it's okay.
I want to be a troublemaker, I go and register in Parkit. Right? It's so much hassle just to be a job. Yeah, so, but I really like the idea though. And like, for investors especially, right? Most of the time when they rent a place, like let's say for one car park, then they were like, oh, what if my tenant needs extra? They can't even ask their neighbors.
You don't know who your neighbors are.
Yeah. So that's a whole different problem for another day, right? But then like, I don't see like the inefficiency which becomes your opportunity in doing this, which is incredible. Then like, what are your special findings that you think, like behaviors that you, like when you invented this app, right? Hey, why got people like that one?
Many, I see people drive like Continental cars. 200 too expensive to pay for parking.
Yes, he read my mind as if, right?
But you park outdoors. His alternative or their alternative is outdoors gravel under the weather, and they pay 300. So we're like, hey, this is already cheaper, already more convenient, already safer, and it's reserved. I don't even compare reserve prices against floating prices. Reserve car park will cost you a lot more. I'm not even going to compare that. I'm just complaining floating versus reserve, and they're still expensive.
This is something very selfish. Which is the most expensive car park spot in KL?
I think KL Central has the highest demand for car parks, mainly because their enforcement is a lot stronger there. That whole place is owned by MRCB. And so if you park your car by the side of the road, you leave, right? They don't just find you, they tow your car away. So that's why if you go to KL Central, like you cannot wait for very long. There'll be policemen trying to chase you away. So the enforcement is super strong there. And the way they built KL Central is that there is very little car park spaces, but many offices. Because I think everybody's going to take the train.
Yeah, they assumed.
So
But okay, to be I think credit wise, I think a lot of people take train already.
yes,
But
of
there will still be
course.
people.
But we are a driving country, I
Yeah.
believe. So, I mean, at the end of the day, because of that, then it drives car park prices up. So, what was quite interesting also, it's not the people, but the scenario is apartment in KL Central maybe will cost you, in general, 4,000 for a 2 bedroom.
Okay.
So
okay.
4,000 ringgit per month for a 2 bedroom.
Uh.
A lot of people or expats that come here, they want to rent, right? They will say it's too expensive. I don't want to rent, but I don't have a car. So what property agents we work with do is, okay, I rent to you 3,500 lah. Cheaper. Then there's 2 car parks there. They rent it out to like 350 each to me. So it makes $700. So in total, right, the owner gets like 4,002, even higher than
Whatever 4,000 they got.
than 4,000, right? By renting out the car parks separately. To me.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's a win-win-win. The tenant gets a cheaper unit. The property agent gets their commission. The owner gets more money.
But you are going to have like 7 tenants really for me.
Yeah. And someone who really needs the parking gets the parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Everybody happy actually.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so awesome. Okay, so I think that opened up a lot. So number one, investors don't have to worry too much about one car park,
Yeah.
right? Because you can always ask your tenant to rent. And there's this phenomenon where an agent in Penang, he just told me that, hey, there's this couple that saw your video, came over and want to buy a property and say that it's dirt cheap because the car park space that they pay in Hong Kong is 150,000. Only for the car park bay, sold separately. So yours is like 400 including 3 car parks?
Yeah, it's like so cheap, 4,000.
Yeah, so we just had a brief conversation about how developers is having this dilemma because the ultimate cost for a development is always a car park. And why people don't build condos anymore? Because per unit comes with 2 car parks. So if I need to build like 400 units, it needs to come with 800 car parks plus 10%, 880 car parks. So it's going to be multi-story. Then if it's not as convenient, then it needs to be sub-basement. Then it's going to be very costly.
Then you turn lah.
You turn. Yeah. Then there's going to be a nightmare for everybody. And this drives the unit price up because technically we are not selling car park, but everything is all built into the selling price lah. So when you come to service apartment, the requirement, this one based on local authorities, every 1,000 square feet requires 1 car park. But now we have 3 bedroom units within 900 square feet. Requirement, 1 car park.
Yeah.
So this is how developers are trying to squeeze playing along the guidelines. Then if you are next to a MRT, if you are a TOD, even less. You can negotiate, okay, visitor, I don't have to give so much. So now, in prime locations, in order to be competitive, they negotiate on the car parks. That's how developers are doing it. So then all roadsides, right? And if you look into shop offices, it's a huge problem for new shop offices now. Let's say a new shop office is like maybe built up 70,000 6 square feet lah. Technically, you need 1.5 car park only. So you 4 stories, right? Maybe 6 car park. Employees alone in the shop office, right? Easily 30 over people.
Yeah.
So you look in SS2, you look in SS15 Subang, you look in Damansara Uptown. So how Damansara Uptown solved it is by creating a mall that solves everybody's issue. Because everybody buy in the mall, then they work in the office. Fabulous. But in Bangsa, habis lah.
Yeah, Bangsa you're screwed. But this is now. Like I think 5 years later, 10 years later, is this problem going to be less or more? And based on statistics, right, like people buying cars, number of cars increasing, and then these kind of regulations, like which is bringing the car park building down. We have less space here. It's gonna be a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be even more crazy.
Yeah.
Like we see places like, so we're 4 years in business. Places that before this, car parks is okay. Not really people, not very high demand, got space. Now it's like getting full. EcoCity is one of them. KL EcoCity. Another one would be Bangsa, near APW. That's also now. Last time was okay. Now it's terrible. Another one is Mutiara Damansara. Near Curve, IBC. Yeah.
But the roads are ready. Imagine all the population up, right?
Yeah. Before that, it's okay. Now we are seeing like, oh, we got people going in, like custom is there now, few thousand employees inside. They just move into the new office building. Where are they going to park? And then they all come and like, okay, we need 200 car parks. Where do you get them? This open space, we got all this open space, right? It's going to shut down one. And then it's going to get developed, right? So now this open space can park 100 cars. Tomorrow they want to develop, bam, they close. These 100 cars, where are they going to park? It's going to be even more serious, this problem.
And I foresee, right, this may be one of the temporary exits for dying malls also. Okay, for example, Times Square. If you go in, right, actually a lot of car park. Only the valet, packed one. Valet always packed. Maybe too cheap, I think they park the valet. But the upstairs all empty one. Then you look in not Artivo. The one in PJ, what's the mall called? Atria.
Atria Mall.
I think a mall.
Yes, also a lot of...
Has mall... Is mall spaces part of your...
Yes. So we have... car parks in Mid Valley now also is good. Is crazy. Sunway also. Sunway malls we have also. KLCC Pavilion.
Those are.
Yeah.
That opens up a lot of like temporary, like these are dead spaces, like to me, right? When I developed last time, right, who needs so many car park? But then because you only use it for 6-8 hours a day, like you park your car, then
then you leave.
Right, like basically Malaysians live in car longer. First, they stay in the office longest. Home second. Third is in the car. They spend more time in the car than anywhere else. Like Malaysians, like hello. But has the work from home culture affected your business?
It has, of course. I mean, if people work from home more, like your offices that do like this 2-3 day work from home thing or flexible, then you don't need a car park lah. So that's okay. That obviously affects me. But if you are doing 1 day work from home, or even actually 2 days work from home, 3 days you still have to come to office, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to pay like 50 in office. So then still maintain the car parks. And now I think the trend is most people are coming to office again. So like Shopee, for example, they have asked all their team to come back to office.
Work KL Eco City, right?
The next 6 months. Mid Valley.
But their office in KL Eco City.
Their office is in Mid Valley, I think. Or Gardens. Mid Valley.
Really?
I'm not sure, but they're opposite. I think it's in Mid Valley.
Another tower.
Like
There's a bridge.
Yeah. Because my gang always ask, hey, come to my office. Then like,
so they've asked their employees to come back to office. They got thousands of employees. But the moment they come in, right, everyone asking for a car park in Mid Valley. Oh, do you have? Oh, it's full. And then Mid Valley increase the prices of parking there.
So the price is like, okay, so is the price controlled by you or controlled by market? Okay, market means that also you lah, but like it's I want to rent out my car park space. I ask for 500.
You can, but we will always prioritize the cheaper one. So
I are you?
But some owners are like that. I mean, depends. We usually will have a good indication of what the prices are in those locations based on other owners renting it out, commercial prices. So we tell you this is typically what the price is lah. So to rent out your parking fast, this would be the most suitable price. But if you did set on a certain price you want because it's next to a lobby, at the lobby next to the door, I don't know, then you can, but the chances are it will be lower lah. So on our website, we always display cheapest prices first. Cheapest prices will always be in view first, and then when that rents out, and if you're the most expensive, you are like the last guy lah. If only one car park available, then it's yours lah.
Page 10, then
then it's yours.
But then like, what determines the premium for car park?
Convenience. So convenience between the car park to the location.
But this is also very personal, right? Like, it depends on which tower I work in.
If the further it is, the
cheaper it gets.
The more you don't want to pay lah. So that's one. Secondly, will be within the car park building itself, how convenient is it to get out? So sometimes it's hard, like I park like level 7, I need to turn 7 rounds. Then they don't want already. They prefer like G1, 2, 3, this kind of things.
Okay, for information, for those who buy lower units within the condo, always get the highest unit of car park. Right? You buy the cheapest unit, you get the shittiest car park.
Yeah, you can request maybe on the
so when you are evaluating to buy a property, the ramp design is very, very important. It's this spiral type where it's faster but you get a bit burning. Then if it's scissors type, half a floor you get 1, then you're doomed.
Yeah, you just...
1 floor you got 2, right? 7 you got 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got one time I went up, I forgot something at ground floor. When it laughs straight away. And then now the best one is a speed ramp type. You go in, then you should go like 3 stories. But that's provided the site can accommodate that kind of ramp system.
Yeah. But it's tough lah. I mean, it's hard. Like you say, 7th floor, then 7th floor. Okay. Then you get an apartment already. Then they have their A, B, C's, 1A, 2, 1A, 1B, 2. 2A, 2B, 3. Then you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I think if you buy a property, then you should ask like the developer if what level is car park, and then if you can negotiate, like, can you give me a
level? It's all allocated already.
Oh, cannot lah.
All allocated already. How I wish, bro.
Sorry, Malaysia.
But so like you've been doing this for 4 years?
Yeah, 4.5 years. Yeah.
How big is your team now?
30. Yeah.
I think it's too small, right?
No, we try to keep a lean team.
No, but do your team need to go and inspect sites and things like that?
Not really. We get pictures, videos from the sites, from the owners. We do test the access cards every time we get it. We will do a testing 1 round, make sure everything works, make sure we ourselves are familiar with the condo or the building, whatever building it is, before we actually pass it to the tenant.
What would be the usual complaints?
I think once you start parking, there's no complaints from the owner. The only complaints will be from other owners or residents who don't know about the idea, and then they feel that,
why got strangers?
This guy doesn't stay here. How can he come in? And there might be we're not comfortable. So,
but as long as you clear with the management, then it's fine, right?
Yeah. So as long as you clear management, it's fine. But sometimes I think also management relies on the JMB, and then this committee or MC or JMB,
they ban it.
They someone there might not like it, or they get like 2-3 owners who just makes a complaint, and I feel like their default answer will be like, okay, you know what, then we just ban it lah. So, but fortunately that's not quite happened to us so far, because at the end of the day we like to tell owners like, hey, you buy this car park, right, like strata title is your private property, right?
Yeah. So accessory parcel.
Yeah, it's accessory to your parcel, right? So as long as you why can't you let anyone park there as long as you have given the
consent?
The consent. Doesn't matter if it's my wife's car, my friend's car, whoever, as long as I have given my consent and I tell you like, hey, this car's being parked here, please take note, then it should not be a problem, just like any other visitor that I register. So, but I guess it's a new idea, so that education needs to happen. But generally, if the management gives us this problem, then we'll tell the owner like, you got to know your rights and just try to
play by the books, but don't
assert, we're not going to break any house rules, but this is the car is going to be parked here. I give my consent as an owner. You treat this vehicle just like how you treat my vehicle. Yeah, you treat this person just like how you treat my family and friend circle. And from there, like, the management will generally just agree.
Yeah, because what would be weird is somebody mispark only lah.
Which happens, and actually the people that mispark, right, are the residents. They know this guy, they always park here, this one, no one park for a few months. I just park lah.
Until kena complain ni and shift lah. Always like that. I drank too much, then I park wrong lah.
But generally, like these guys who are working, who go in and park, they listen and then just park. Because they just need a parking right. They're not going to go there and like try to break rules and then try
they
to
need it more.
Because if I'm going to say, okay, you can't park here anymore, they're like, oh shit.
But is your car park limited to time?
No. Usually it's weekly, shortest, all the way to yearly.
Okay. So it's not based on hours lah?
No, weekly. Shortest is weekly for now. Hours on commercial sites we have, hourly. But for residents, not much.
Because I would foresee right, this is like me. I have 3 car parks, but it's free from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock PM. This slot, anybody can park. So
yes, my limitation is on access. If it's an access card involved, then the operational
a lot more
to do that. I cannot like collect and then give it to another person
unless
every hour.
I truly duplicate, right?
Yeah, but then again, you won't be comfortable with that. Like I need to still collect back from the person if the person changes. So if it's a different person, if it's the same person, then less of an issue. You just give me whatever access card you have. And then I just park during this time to this time lah. So that happens one. We have like landed properties in SS2 next to the train station, only available 8 in the morning till 8 p.m. at night because the owner comes back from work. So we just do that lah. But the access is easier there. But if you say like changing different cars, then it becomes even more harder. So some condos now they are doing like RFID. Or they are doing license plate recognition. These systems make it easier to later on implement shorter term parking rental.
Well, I foresee that being more effective though.
Of course, for sure.
But just that you cannot come back early lah.
Usually we have a fail-safe one. So we have situational. So if the situation is, okay, you have to come back early, what do you do? So we will already sort that out and then before the rental takes place. So the tenant will be aware, the owner also will be aware. So the owner will say, like, okay, if it's early, I'll just park visitor for a while or beside, which is not my parking. I'll park there for a while and until you leave, then I switch my car like that. If they're not agreeable, then the rental won't take place in the first
cool.
day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so sophisticated, not so simple-minded like me. But if this is the case, right, like then it becomes quite tricky for residents to rent out their. Okay, the only people that will rent out, like if, for example, my tenants are people without cars, then only this takes place, right?
That's one. That's usually what takes place. Or if your unit is untenanted and the owner is waiting for a tenant, or they just don't want to rent it out. So then they also rent out the car park.
They don't want to rent out the unit, but they rent out the car park.
Yeah, I have
very rich people.
They're like, no, I don't want to rent it out. I rent it out, then they spoil my walls.
Yeah, they want different level.
So I just leave it.
We shall strive to that level.
So we're like, okay.
Because in East Malaysia, I just went, right, the trip. A lot of people buy apartments there for car parks.
Wow.
That blew my mind also. Like, what? Oh, but this unit, right, they came with 4 car parks. That's what I bought. Then the unit is not tenanted for very, very long, but the car park is all full. I got no place to park in my car. And my mansion I can only put 8. I'll put another 4 here lah.
Okay.
Then I see. Then you got people ronda, go and take care of my car. You pay them a little bit, then get people to kind of wash car. Which is another whole different service. They walk into condos, right? The bicycle, right? They can't clean the car. Whoa. A lot of money, that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go to you as a first-time property buyer.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Because this is very interesting because like you're a startup. Like, did you buy the house before you start the business or after you start the business?
After what? No. I won't pass the loan. I only managed to get a loan to buy my property. After I started startup, like maybe 3 years in. Before they managed.
Because the bank, you use your own personal name, right, to get the car park.
Yeah. To get the property, you mean?
Get the car park. To get a property. Sorry.
And the first thing I asked was like, what is the level of the car park and how many car parks I get? And are all those car parks single? Another thing is car parks, they tell you got 4 car parks. You're like, okay, nice. And then the car parks comes tandem. One front, one back. Then you just, hey, wait a minute. Who creates tandem car park? I mean, I get the logic, but nobody wants it lah.
Cool fact, right? Tandem car park is front and back, right? In local authorities' it's calculated as 1.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Meaning like as a developer to fulfill the requirement.
Oh, it's counted as 1.
It's counted as 1.
But the buyers don't know this. They just tell you I got 2.
No, but if I were to sell to the customer, I'll tell you, okay, or yours come with 2.
I tell you 2
but in tandem.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh yes. So you then you think like you
Then you went there, it's like, oh, front back. So we see a lot of condos like that. And then they have tandem car parks and like they never get used. And it never gets rented out. And the owners are like,
And that the origin, the root cause is actually poor planning it's just poor planning of space. And that's the reason like we spoke about the transfer beam and the transfer slab in between the facility stack and the residential. Because car park layout needs to be super efficient. Because like among 3 beams or among 2 beams there will be 3 car parks or 4 car parks, and ngam is 2.4, another extra 200 mm here and there, 2 columns with 1 beam, chun one, beizao one. Then if you go, then how you put a ramp and things like that. So when you have weird designs like triangular form or whatsoever, or the site is different form, right? Then you have all these standard car park one.
Yeah. So I checked whether it's all single, which I say it's all single, and I have 4 before I agreed to buy property. So I brought in my brother. Yeah. So in case like my family comes down to stay in the future, then we have because we have always been renting. And I'm not from here. I'm from Ipoh. Yeah.
You're ngam ke?
You too?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We have a different conversation later.
So we Ipoh here, people maybe come and work here, fresh graduate. First thing you need to do is pay on rental. First time I paid rental was 600 one room plus internet, maybe 700-800 with internet and electricity lah. So that's like
Your room got window.
already 30% of my pay. Got. I had a room, yeah.
No, you had a window,
I had
right?
a window, yeah. So 30% of my pay, I add in car park some more, $300. I just
Why I come here again?
like what's happening? Why can't I just stay in
Stay at
Ipoh?
home, right? No?
Yeah. So sometimes I find like my friends last time, my KL Selangor friends, they're very fortunate. They start working, they buy car. Like, yeah, of course. I mean, they go back home. Then they got
The
food.
housing expenses is zero. And that formed a whole different, I know we are swaying from the conversation, but a different school of thought, right? These people will never get it why people need to rent house. Like, I just answered a question like during lunch. Sean, I worry in property investment because I don't think like when everyone, right, the whole world is renting out their unit, why must they rent yours? Then I'm like, you have not rent a house before, I think.
Yeah, probably, yes.
So there are so many people in need of space.
Yes.
And not everyone can actually buy a house.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of factors comes into the space, like the convenience, is it close to the train station? I used to move, I've moved 4 times before now I've moved into my main property. I moved in 4 times. Every time I rent a different place, but my first thing was if it is close to a train station, even though I have a car. And the reason is because like driving here, 1 week your petrol is gone. So there's extra cost some more on top of housing, you have to pay rental. So the train is always more convenient for you if your job allows it. But it's usually like a lot more expensive. Properties near train stations. So you'll get like outskirts. I remember I stayed Kota Damansara, cheap place, maybe 500. But the MRT construction was going on. So I drive to the train station in Paramount and then take the train to KL
But this
Central.
was a few years ago.
It's many years ago.
7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
Before MRT was done.
Yeah, the MRT was still built and Kota Damansara was like messed up. I have to pass by Center Point. So I drive 45 minutes to the train station and another 45 minutes to office, 1.5 hours. Coming back, same thing. So I spend 3 hours on the road every day. So I thought, okay, you know what, like, screw this. The next property I got was in Damansara, next to the train station. I started waking up at 9 or 8:30. I have 3 hours more for my day.
Yeah.
And that's great.
That is why premium of different locations happen. This entire dynamics of pricing is based on convenience, and they are people which I think is sensible to pay.
Yeah.
I would always pay for convenience.
Yeah. And time, like you get back your time and you find like your time is worth a lot more. Like I spend 3 hours every day. That's 15 hours a week, Monday to Friday. Sometimes I reach home, I don't even see the sun. I leave home, sun rising. I leave office, already sunset. And by the time I reach home after dinner, it's time to sleep already. You can't do like anything anymore.
Yeah.
And then, after I get to save 3 hours of my life every day, wow, I can wake up later.
There's so many things you
I
can
can
do.
reach back home 6:30 like, hey.
Like during lockdown, funny thing is like, this room got window or no? Wow, the window not bad.
Yeah.
We've never seen daylight before in that room.
Yeah.
And talking about this, right, his entire story about the car park thing is because how I define rental is the temporary need of a space. Because if it's so why certain spaces are higher in rental because the temporary need is higher. But the period here temporary is like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Like for a new job, you come to KL. Okay, I stay here 1 year tenancy, right? Tak mungkin I don't know whether I will stay in this job for 3 years or not. I won't rent or buy a place here, ma.
Yes.
So that's why the high traffic increases the demand, the temporary demand, which applies to your entire philosophy of business.
Yes, it does.
It's like I need that car park for like 6 hours only. The rest of it, I won't see the. So. Yeah, I think for newbie property investments, right, this is a very different reward that comes from this interview. These are the people, we are the people who are being served with the housing market. A lot of people will still think like property overpriced lah, whatever. Does it make sense to even buy LRT property? Especially for those who stays in like, because I'm very close to Bukit Jalil, Puchong area, Cheras area. 8 stations in Cheras alone. Right? I don't see any need one because you are not the one using it, right? If you can like, I will stay in a landed, so I buy there just for investment. Like, who is going to rent? A lot of people, and that's the reason why, like, no matter how shitty LRT is, right, it's good that we have one.
I think LRT is great actually. LRT, MRT is great. The one that is maybe a bit lacking old is like ATM. I'm not sure what I can do about that, but I love the LRT. Every 2-3 minutes, peak hours, you have they're not often late. They're fast. They're actually
I like the
really
Putra
fast.
line most lah.
I like the Kelana Jaya line most.
That's Putra.
Oh, that's Putra line. Yeah, that's great. That's I think the best the best like service going on.
Ooh, that's the best.
But you know, like, I think if you do research, actually I'm not sure if there is but anyone who wants to start a business, like, maybe this would be a good one. Like, I think there are areas where rental near train stations are affordable. So where I stay last time, which is out of Damansara, where my office is now, and I chose the office there because I can just walk down and walk out. But now I shift to Bangsar South already, which is messed up. But I stay
Things
there.
we do for comfort.
Yeah, I know. Then people ask me, hey, you get your office here, like, why are you moving to Bangsar South now? I say, I know. But I don't want to pay rental and pay loan. I'll be sleeping on the streets. So anyways, so that place that I rented in is in Pacific Place. I'm not promoting the property, but when I stayed there, I paid the whole unit cost 1.7. 1,007 is 1,002 square feet. 1.7 per month. And 1,000 square feet is big 3 rooms. And the property price is like 5,000. Hey, I think that's a great price. So if people there, if they go and
there's a mall next to it actually.
There's more next to it. You have Jaya Grocer there. They have Jaya Grocer, which is great. I think Jaya Grocer is good already. They have like 3 Mamas, they have KFC. They got like 5 marts. They got Mediveron. So you literally got everything. You don't have to leave that place really, okay? And then if you rent out room by room, I rented the whole property for myself. I had housemates, but they left. So I also, I mean, if you stay in KL long enough, you don't want to go and rent rooms, you become master tenant better. So I rent master tenant. I stay in a master room. Second room, I rent out 1,000. Third room, I rent out 700. I get free rental lah.
It's pretty common though. Like, for those who are listening, this is a tip there.
This is a tip.
There are some risks to it where some landlords will just force you to just pay up. Then if you cannot find room rentals, you cannot find people, then that few months you need to swallow yourself.
There's some risk. But like for me, before I rent the property, I go and iBilling, I put out first. Get your tenants first before. Then you collect 2.5 months deposit, get 2.5 months notice. I think if you want to find a replacement and your place is as convenient as this, next to trade, I always found a tenant. Always found a tenant. You don't want to stay in some ulu place far from train station. Then I think it's hard. But if you stay like train station, like there's some crowd there, got public transport, amenities, right? I didn't find it actually I found it like
too easy, right?
Yeah, people like asking me 6 months after my post, still asking me, hey, available can you rent it? Can I come and see viewing? So, but that was very convenient. So as an investor at that time, not investor, but I was thinking like if I had money, I would buy it. Because I pay 5,000 like my loan repayment versus how much I can get if I rent out all 3 rooms like separately. It's more than my loan repayment, and I can make a gain from that. So I think not a lot of properties now can do that. You buy D, you go and rent it out, cannot cover your loan. But this one could.
A lot of people was like, you don't have one, Sean, don't have one.
But you got to
work on it.
You got to find that location There are locations like that.
Then back to your first property thing, right? Like with all this calculation in mind, right? We are not going to disclose the property, but you went for a very fancy one, straight away.
I'm not sure. I think it was marketed as fancy. My experience buying it was, I don't have anything to compare to, so I would say okay, it's not bad. But the price was alright. The price was 600-700 per square feet in a central location. So 600 is a central location. I think it was great. We had nice view, and I thought that price, like, okay, similar condos like that probably cost you like 1,000 square foot, 1,002 square foot per square foot, and I thought it was good it was a good price to buy it for, and later on that price can increase, and also it's next to train station, next to malls, so
It's one of the properties that we reviewed before in Bangsar South.
Yeah.
But luckily we reviewed a few in Bangsar South. So it's not the exact one.
So I got that. So that was good. I thought the price was good. Looks fancy, but price not over the top. Yeah. I don't know if you agree with me.
Never mind. It's not a debate anyway. It's not like who.
It was like
why do we need to?
It was like 700 plus per square.
Yeah. I think you get it. Okay. I think it's okay.
Right? Yeah, it's alright.
But because you don't know the neighbor was selling how much before that, it was that half at least. By the time Bangsar South is not Bangsar South yet lah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
But then, what about this thing where startups, right? Like instead of treating yourself, right? Like, what about the idea of going all into the business instead? Yeah.
Treating yourself. Okay. Full disclosure, I bought the property I shared with my brother. So it was 50-50. So so I'm not I don't think startup founders earn a lot like here in Malaysia, or you don't. I think you can have a choice, you know. Going all in was a risk. Like, I'm not from a very, very well-to-do family.
Like, so this is this is how organic the conversation is, but like, because I always think that sometimes people, like for youngsters, right, when they are employed under employee and you decided to climb the corporate ladder, I would advise then park your money somewhere in a property or whatsoever. But if you want to run a business, right, suddenly you have another business idea, right? You need money, no matter how like you got funds or whatever, you still need the initial money to sustain.
I think I understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, for me personally, like, so I meet other founders, I think speak to them. Now accelerated, they got me to become mentor, so I go and talk to them, these younger fellas. I think at the end of the day, right, it's this whole I want to start a business thing is a personality that someone needs to have. If your personality is not that, your personality is you want security, and I want to work for someone, I want a 9 to 7, you know, like whatever. I want to take my 14 days holiday and go somewhere else. I don't want to stress all the time. Then you naturally won't go and start a business one. You just don't have it in you. No matter how much they want to, you don't see them jumping out. At the same time, you got the other guy, no money, no savings, like me. And then, like, okay, you want to start a business, and you just go and do it. And then you just go and get it done. And then you know, like, okay, there's risk. You take some calculated risk lah. Like for me, I obtained some funds before I actually stepped out full time. So we raised like 250,000 ringgit. So I left my full-time job after I've gotten the 250,000, and then I paid myself the same like shitty salary that I got in my previous job, like 3-4K. So I just paid that lah. So I could still sustain whatever lifestyle I have right now at a time. But I did it. A lot of people would say, oh, you know, like you could get more. Yeah, it's a risk and reward thing. I think if you stay in your job and then you go and climb the ladder, it's more secure. And you know exactly like what you can earn in a couple of years if you go and achieve your KPIs or whatever performance. But the risk is lower lah. So risk return is lower. At the same time, if you're in a startup, if you can do it well, then you have a lot of benefits from it. And of course, if you get an exit through an acquisition, or hopefully if you IPO your company, then you will make it big. So I think it is a risk and reward thing. I also think you should not like go and get into entrepreneurship for the money, unless you're like maybe a traditional business. Like at least for what we're doing, like we had this opportunity because we were trying to help people find a space. That's why we get this, like, that's why people fund us. And that's how I started. I didn't start out like, oh, I can make like millions from this from this thing. No, I just tried and then build, make some side income. Great people like, hey, why don't you provide it to more people? I said, I got no funds. I said, okay, I give you some funds now, you try. And that's how I tried. And then that's how we just get there. So that money thing is like your monetary reward. I think it's a byproduct of what you do. But firstly is that you really, really believe in what you're doing. And that's why you got to step out, right? If you don't really believe in what you're doing, like why would you step out from your comfort zone? And you know, you might as well just invest, get someone to run it, and then get some dividends from it. Yeah,
That's my whole advice. Like when a lot of business people come to me asking whether to invest in properties. To me, right, what got you in that position of abundance was the business. If you want more, go further in lah.
yeah,
Instead, like if you want to diversify your assets or whatsoever, then invest in properties. Because a lot of people still think that investing in properties will make them rich. Not really. Investing in property keeps you rich. So you need to be in that position first. Where like because when you buy, then when I listen more, it's like a home kind of thing. Then when your family come down from Ipoh, there's a place to stay. So it's a home, not so much of a investment kind of thing. But it's done in a very calculated manner. Like, you know, price per square feet, how much neighboring selling, what's the purpose. You justify all yourself, right?
yeah. Before, I took like 1 year before I made my decision. Actually, I sat down there one day signing, and then I just backed out. I said, like, you know what, I'm not comfortable. There was a reason why. I felt like the marketing was kind of put me off at that time. But I came back 6 months later and signed it. They dropped the price, and they dropped the price for that exact reason why. So the reason was that Bangsa South is Bangsa South, right? Bangsa South is not Bangsa lah.
Yeah.
So when you market Bangsa, then people think Bangsa ma. So you go and check it out lah. And then if you go and buy a property in the area, your address is important. So I asked, what's the address? Because when I checked the sempadan, that line, the delineation, the property was just outside the line. It's outside. It's not even Bangsa South. It's in Pantai Dalam.
Yes.
Or Kampung Pantai, something like. So I say like, hey, what's going to be on the property? They say, oh, like Kampung Pantai. Then I'm like, but you market Bangsa South, the price you charge Bangsa South, but actually the when I get my address is not Bangsa South. So I feel like that is not very upfront of you, you know. It's beside you just beside lah. So that's why I put out. So let's say that okay, we are going to apply to name it Bangsa Selatan. Bangsa Selatan, Bangsa South, same lah. I say no lah, not the same lah. Bangsa Selatan, Bangsa Selatan, Bangsa South, Bangsa South lah. If it's the same, you just call it Bangsa South. So I put out, But then after that, they say, okay, we are going to decrease the price. 6 months later, they increased it. Then I was like, okay, we got a higher floor, a lot higher floor. So, okay, then I bought it.
Yeah. So very interesting topic. This is called naming convention. And it's supposed to do with mailing department. Pejabat post. So sometimes when you see like, wow, whatever fancy name now, right? When you get the property, it's residency something.
Oh yeah.
So the classic example that shocked me, this was one of my own project that I developed. Emerald Residence. High class, right? When you come, right, direct translation, Residency Zamrud. Not, it's direct translation, but the image, right, just like, okay, our Malay level proficiency is not there. What the hell is Zamrud?
Yeah.
Right? Then we have other stones. Then we have like jade hills. Then what? Then Residency what?
Batu lain.
Batu lain.
Yeah.
And then like the address, when you mail, right, or then the especially the last line, the postcode and the last. So it used to be a thing for officers where they buy addresses. They go for those the sempadan at Cheras, because Cheras there's two side of Cheras, the Selangor side of Cheras and the KL side of Cheras. That used to be the one of the cheapest KL address that you can get. Then when people judge you based on your mailing address, hey, this one legit or not? Look at the address. Now last time when we look at this one shared office one, this one cannot make it one. Oh, this one legit office in this what tower. Okay, this one legit business.
Yeah.
That's how old people judge businesses.
Yeah.
Now they say, oh, they are co-working space one, or they are quite cool, hype one.
Now.
Last time you they no money, only need to share office man. Yeah. So that's how important address is. And what's gonna happen? What's the future like for your company?
We are trying to expand to Hong Kong and Singapore. So we already have some business there. So when you mentioned Hong Kong earlier, I was like, right. Yeah. So Hong Kong and Singapore will be next. So we are raising some funds now. Hopefully close around by end of the year. And then by next year, we will start to have more funds to address your question earlier, which you're in the property industry, but you have not really heard about us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to change that now. So doing more networking, doing more marketing, reaching out to more people. We've been bootstrapping so much. Just making do with what we have.
Yeah.
And this round is going to give us a little bit more resources to then be more free to use the money wisely. So so let's see. That will be the plan next. Also expansion to more outside residents. Now we are maybe 70% residents, 30% commercial. So we also will go more commercial spaces, work with more developers, malls, car park operators.
Yeah, because like the entire feasibility study now, before we actually develop projects, will change.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like now, more car parks is not necessarily more cost really. It's more opportunities.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Why do I want more fountains? This is a lot of people, wow, water feature, nice. After 2 years, where's the feature again?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think go check out. It's just in all Play stores, in all.
Yeah, it's not in Play stores, in the iOS platform. Just search Parkit, and then have a look. So we have app, we have web. Drop by, say hi, and hopefully we can help you.
So go check it out. And I think this indirectly changed a lot of my perception. From a developer point of view, we just mentioned that. From a tenant point of view, don't be too worried about no car parks. But it comes with a cost. Still, it comes with a cost. Even your park roadside also got cost one. People break your window, people tow your car away, someone.
Oh, one more thing about our service now. We are covered by insurance, Allianz. So I don't think any car parks in Malaysia has insurance. We have insurance. Cover break-ins. If you lose your laptop, it covers you. If you bang your neighbor, it covers you. If you bang the boom gate, also covered. So death, disability. I mean, if leaking your car dirty, then we provide car wash. But insurance won't cover that.
No, because the thing is that some car parks leak, right? Then like sometimes they park the car there for 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Then it became like a stalagmite. The batu kapo.
After 2 days, 2 months?
No but it happened to the condo that you stay in.
Oh man.
We have a guest that stays in your condo. We'll talk about it later. But anyway, do check out their platform. I think it's wonderful what they're doing. And it's a very cool idea. You just unlock dead spaces around the city.
Yeah,
that's so
exactly
cool,
what
man.
we do.
And I think that's all for today. Do check them out again. And thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Happy to come.
See you guys next one. Ciao. Bye.
Bye-bye.